Hello, everyone. It is Friday. It is Friday, October 20th, and have a very special guest on with us today. We're going to be talking about reparations, and we're going to be talking about Reparations Sunday, in particular with my very special guest, Miss Tamara. And Miss Tamara, how are you today?
I'm wonderful, sir. How are you? Thank you for having me.
It's a blessing to have you, and I know we met a while ago, but I want you to just introduce yourself, introduce Reparations Sunday. What is this program is all about? What is that you guys, your mission of what you guys are trying to do?
Yeah, I am Tamara Johnson-Shealey, everyone. Well, reparations. We understand the plight of Black America right now. We're at the bottom. We're at the bottom, and we have to address the systemic issues and how we even got here. So, reparations is a conversation that we cannot avoid as we approach this 2024 political season. We can't avoid it. So, just to briefly introduce myself, I'm Tamara Johnson-Shealey. I actually ran for office here in the great state of Georgia. I ran for the Georgia State Senate in 2014 and 2016 and 2018. And I came back and ran for the U.S. Senate in 2020 and 2022. So I've had a quite a number of years on the political trail around here. And again, watching the state of Black America, it was always the center of my platform. I always talked about us. I never shied away from Black issues. So reparations again is a conversation that we just can't avoid, and we have to just not be afraid to ask that this debt be paid.
So one of the things that I was looking at your website and I wanted to be more clear about is what is it that Reparations Sunday goal is? Like what is the Reparations Sunday we're connecting with the churches to actually talk about reparations?
Yeah. So Reparations Sunday is an initiative where we are very specific about the relationship between the Black church specifically, and or the church in general, and the reparations movement. So when we think back to the civil rights movement, the churches undergirded that. The churches were right there. They were pivotal. They pushed the initiative for the civil rights movement. So how can we have a generation of us who are fighting for reparations and not have the church right there alongside of us? It doesn't make sense. So this initiative, Reparations Sunday, is where we engage the churches in our fight for reparations. So that's the root of it.
And when we talk about reparations, we see that there's a big movement around the country around reparations. We see in California, they actually have a whole panel that's examining this. So for us in Georgia, there is a movement on this going on in Georgia too, correct?
Yeah, yeah. We don't know. A lot of people don't know. We're on fire. The reparations movement is on fire nationally. You're right. California has led the charge, where they have had a commission. They had a commission. Their governor actually signed into into a bill where they could have a commission to study the impact of slavery on those Black Californians that were um, descendants of chattel slavery. So they had a commission, and now they have a hundreds and hundreds of pages of policy recommendations where they can actually start to do a deep dive into the repair for Black Californians. So yeah, Georgia is on the map. This is our second session where we've had a bill introduced. It was HB 541 last session, but we brought that bill back, and now it's House Bill 89. And House Bill 89 was introduced then, and currently introduced by Representative Roger Bruce in the 61st district. And yeah, it mirrors the efforts of California to have a commission that will study the impact of slavery and Jim Crow on those of us who are descendants of chattel slavery. So we're here, and this is where we're in our moment. I call this our civil rights moment. Like, this is our civil rights movement. Those of us that are activists, like, this is our moment where we don't have affirmative action anymore. The Supreme Court has struck that down, so that is gone. So now, how do we address policy specific to those of us who are Black? We can't use the word Black anymore. So those of us who are descendants of chattel slavery, now we have an opportunity to have redress, to have reparations, to have the repair that we need as Americans.
And I know a lot of times when you talk about reparations, one of the things that scares so many people is that when they hear reparations, they hear money, right? Money, 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 money. But what are some of the other things that, as far as what you guys are campaigning against? I mean, or campaigning for when it comes down to reparations, you guys see it as something broader than just cutting checks to people, right? Some of the things you
Oh,
guys are advocating for are
everything. Tell me something black people don't need. There's nothing that we have housing, we have education, we have, healthcare. Just tell me, what is it that we don't need? Reparations is repair. It is a holistic approach. Yes, we absolutely are owed money, and that's a part of it. But this is an initiative where it has to be all encompassing. We're talking about the repair, and it's generational repair. We're not looking for one and done. We're not looking for this pie in the sky. What we're looking for is steps in the right direction. This is generations of work that has to be done. This may start with us, but it may benefit my children, my children's children, my children's children's children. Like, this is generational repair that needs to happen. Slavery and what has been done to us systemically, slavery, Jim Crow, black codes, convict leasing, no New Deal, no GI Bill, redlining, war on drugs, mass incarceration, systemic injustice after systemic injustice. You got to understand the trauma that lives literally in our DNA. So this is not something that they always want to say, all they see is money. It's bigger than that. It's bigger than that. But it's going to take that, and we're owed that, and we want that, we expect that, but it's bigger than that.
when you talk about reparations, why is it that people should look at it as something that's a necessity? Like for the people who are out there who say like black people should not receive reparations or they don't deserve reparations, why should it be looked at something as a necessity?
Need when you when you see us laying in the streets around the country, those are black people. Those are black families. When you see us laying in the streets, something is systemically wrong. When you see us having the issues that we have in our families, something is wrong. We're not okay. We're not okay as a people. So deserve this country knows and recognizes that this nation was built off blood, sweat, and tears of black Americans, generations of us. We were chattel. That means we were property. That means somebody owned me,
And people
my
who didn't
children.
ask to even be here, actually.
Say it. We didn't ask to be here. We were bought here in chains. And some of us were already here and then enslaved. This country understands that if it wasn't for our black bodies that was worth more than the railroads, we were the wealth of this nation. Our black bodies. So America knows. And this is and I honestly feel like we're in some sort of reckoning. Like, this is a time where America is very clear that it's going to have to face what it's done. And we can face this together. This doesn't have to be anything that's scary. I talked to a lot of Republicans. There was an article that was written by a MAGA Republican here in Georgia that talks about Democrats being afraid of reparations and why Republicans must lead the charge. There's an argument to be made, and they understand that this is something, it's an economic engine. This could turn this nation around. This could turn this state around. This can turn our country around. So it becomes an opportunity when presented the right way.
In Georgia, I was just reading an article the other day that Georgia has a surplus. It's a huge surplus. Maybe they can direct some of that surplus towards House Bill 89 and seeing if they can actually start a panel. So, what are some of the things that for church wanting to get involved in this movement with you guys? What are some of the things that you guys do to partner with churches?
Let's go back to the House bill. So House Bill 89, and then I want to answer your question. So House Bill 89 creates this commission. So this commission, it will be 11 members, and 3 of them will be appointed by the governor. The other 8 will be appointed by House leadership. So it creates what we need to deep dive into the study that so that we can get the repair that we need. So Reparations Sunday, we're asking that the churches walk with us as activists, walk with us in this process. We actually have a rally scheduled for February the 6th at the Capitol. And we're wanting churches to come out, participate with us. We're asking that churches accompany us as when session starts. Session will be 40 days. Georgia has a 40-day legislative cycle. 30 days are the 30th is crossover. So we need churches to be there with us every day. That we're in session, asking these legislators to do the right thing, push this bill forward. This is not even reparations. Let me say that again. This is not even reparations. This is a commission to study. That's all this is. Ultimately, the job of reparations is the job of the federal government. No state alone can handle this. It's not their total responsibility. But we have to get the ground. It's like we're setting things on fire around the states, around the country, with states pushing. So if we push from the ground up, the goal is to force the hand of the federal government. Do the right thing by all Black people, those of us who are descendants of chattel slavery. Let me make sure I'm clear there. Those of us who are descendants of chattel slavery, because not all Black people are old. But this is an opportunity, again, to address the impact of what has been done to us as a people in this nation. So churches, we need them on board. And it's no other ask. Join us in the fight. Commit to being at the Capitol with us here in Georgia. Commit to supporting us in this national reparations fight. Commit to doing a sermon once a month, once a quarter, heck, twice a year. Commit to doing a sermon to talk about reparations. Commit to educating. We have a lecture series on our website. Commit to educating your parishioners why reparations and why we have to do this now. Again, we don't have affirmative action. It's gone. It's gone. So what policy, how are we going to get policy very specific to us? Reparations, again, is all encompassing. It becomes our new affirmative action.
And I think it's important that we point out that, like you mentioned, House Bill 89 is not even calling for reparations. It's calling for just them to just look into the impact that reparations or the impact that reparations will have on the Black community, and look at just the scope in which we need to pay back. A lot of people who are being, and you brought up a lot of very good points. Like systematically, we know that Black people sit at the very bottom of the totem pole. Systematically, we are the highest rate of people incarcerated in the judicial system, where we get penalized for crimes that our counterparts get penalized for 3 times as bad. Our punishment is 3 times as worse than our counterparts. And we see that systematic racism is something that still exists. In fact, right now we just had a rally at the church I attend yesterday for a deacon who was killed on the side of the street by a police officer. And then there was another story of a Black guy who was visiting from Broward County, Florida, who got killed for a traffic stop by a police officer, got tased to death. So what is it going to take? What is it going to take for Black people to wake up and say that we deserve more?
We got to demand it, and we have to come together and stick together. And again, the churches were, I mean, we wouldn't be where we are without having the foundation of our churches. We wouldn't. And I just believe in order for us to go where we're going and with this next generation, we're going to need our churches. So we need the churches to come along. We need the churches to stand with us and believe in this fight. You know, a lot of our churches, the pastors, they don't really see it happening. But think about this. It literally took from the time we were freed from slavery until the civil rights movement. That was 100 years worth of work. So if it takes us to, do our part in this time period, we have to do our part. Many might not live to see it happen, but that doesn't mean we don't work and continue to fight.
And let me ask you a question. So one of the things that is important is that this is not just a generational fight, and we have to get our younger generation involved in this fight. But this is not just a generational fight. But do you think that this would be something that could be won in your generation?
I pray so. I don't have any foresight. All I can do is do what God has called me to do. And he's laid it on my heart in such a way that this is my life. Again, as I've run as a candidate, I've centered this. And now that I'm no longer, running, I still feel the same fire. Like I still feel like I can't stop talking about this. I can't stop doing this work. I can't. And I believe the young people, the more young people we can get engaged in this process, the better. But it's heavy lifting, I can tell you that.
Yeah, I know. But what if people want to know more about you and about the website and about Reparations Sunday? How can they find out more information about you guys?
Reparations Sunday, go to the website, reparationssunday.info, info, info, reparations with an S, info. We're on Instagram as well, Reparations Sunday.
And they can even preview some of the video classes that you was talking about, right?
This lecture series is amazing. This was done by a historian. His name is Mr. Reggie Jackson. He put together a 10-part lecture series on the website for us, and each lecture series is broken up into an 1 hour increments, so they're digestible, but they are jam packed with information, stuff you just we don't know. You know, Black history wasn't taught in school to the extent that we have to teach ourselves. So he has been masterful in putting this together, a great lecture series. So you can take it one bite at a time. Let your kids watch it. You know, watch it for your own understanding. Because as we have this conversation and push for reparations, what do we say? We just want it? No, we need to be able to substantiate this argument with data, with information, with history. So he's done an excellent job with this. So yes, it's on the website. It's a lecture series. Take a look at it again, one bite at a time.
And one more question for you: but House Bill 89, are there certain state senators or state representatives that are on the fence about this that we need to be putting pressure on?
Yes, many of them. You know, Georgia has the largest Black caucus in the nation. Let me say that one more time. I just because I want you to understand the magnitude of the power. Georgia has the largest Black caucus in the nation. Now, we may be a red state with our governor, our House, and our Senate being led by Republicans, but we have power. And what breaks my heart is that they don't have the collective power. This legislative Black caucus, if they came together and said, we're going to stand on this one, this is the one we're going to stand on, they can move mountains, even though they don't have the numbers, but because they could wield their power in different ways. They're on the inside. We're on the outside pushing, but they're on the inside. They can slow up some things. They can stop some things. There's some strategic moves that they can make as a collective. So to have that number, that many legislators in the caucus and not wield the power to get a study, because that's what this is. It's a study. It would be heartbreaking if this doesn't pass in this next upcoming legislative cycle.
Well, I know one thing: you have a partner on the ground with Black Push. We're going to do as much as we can to make sure that we get as many people to your website and make sure that we get as many people to just understand what you guys are trying to do, and support it. And let's put some pressure on these candidates, man. Some of these candidates that are running for office and some of these people who are in office, because this is something that we have to take seriously. It's time to start looking at it and doing research on it. And
Mm-hmm.
it's time to look at the impact that not having reparations. I mean, we've given reparations to different cuts of our society throughout the years. Why should Black culture be any different?
Absolutely. And this weekend, if you don't mind me sharing, this weekend there's a play over at the New Black Wall Street in Stonecrest, Georgia, called Justice on Trial. And this play is about two civil rights attorneys that are, it's a courtroom scene, and they're deliberating why reparations. That one side is yes and one side is no. It is a powerful, powerful play. The Chad Lawson Cooper Company has bought this play here. This is the third time that I've been involved with it. And when I tell you, it really sets the stage for why this has to happen. Our repair, reparations has to happen. It really does. So it is happening this Sunday at the New Black Wall Street.
Okay, and what time is that on this Sunday?
It's 7 p.m.
7 p.m. Thank you so much, Ms. Tamara, for your time today. Thank you so much for answering our questions. We'll make sure that we put the link to your website on this platform. And if you guys want to know more about what they are doing, Reparations Sunday is trying to do, it's on the very bottom of your screen, or you can click the link below in this video. But thank you so much, Ms. Tamara, for your fight and for your ambition to try to push this forward.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. I love us.
And have a blessed day.
Thank you. You too, sir. Thank you.